我叫李天師，我依家讀緊街 feel 高中第12年啦。I chose this location for two reasons. The first one is that it's my first memory. I remember my grandma giving me a piece of bread and I just started ripping them up and throwing them at the pigeons. That's the first thing I remember. And the other reason was because it connects to my cultural roots. When I came back from China after studying abroad, I felt so lost because I couldn't understand whether I was American or Chinese or what. And whenever I came here, I felt a lot better because it's just like everybody around me has the same story. They're in America and they're of some other race or ethnicity and they don't know how to fit in. They're not one of the extremes or the polar opposites. They're one of the in-betweens. They're somewhere in the spectrum, and that's what I love about the world. It's just so chaotic that you can't choose between sides. Like, I'm Chinese American, and this place shows my Chinese side, but here I could come with my friends, and I can speak English, I can speak Chinese, I can do what I feel like doing, and I feel safe. I don't have to worry about whether or not I have blonde hair or blue eyes, or whether or not my Chinese is fluent enough, or if my hair is black enough. My parents are from China. My dad grew up in the slums of Guangzhou. After he graduated high school, he did really well on the college entrance exams, and he decided, I'm gonna do something with my life. So he did. He became a cardiologist, and I really respect that because he went through all that hard work. He came to America on his own. He created his own business. He's an amazing role model. And my mom, she grew up in a village. She came to America to recreate herself, to become a person she wanted to be. I remember her telling me this story the first time she saw snow, and she fell on her butt the moment she came down the stairs. And I just remember that moment because it's just like, when you come to a new place, you just suddenly fall down because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. And you still get back up, and then you just decide, yeah, I'm gonna be this new person. I'm gonna make a change in this world. I'm gonna be something. My parents, through their love, through their help, through everything they've given me, I'm right here and I'm ready to change the world.
Assalamu alaikum, Makan Ke Omari. What I said was, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. My name is Omar. I'm 18 years old. I'm a Garfield High School student. I'm also a Running Star student at Seattle Central. I chose this place because it is a place where it has a lot of meaning to me. This place has moved 3 times in its lifetime. Every time we move, it gets bigger and bigger because we are growing as a community. The majority of people that come here are Oromo. Oromo is the people and a language. So we speak Oromo and we are Oromo. We're from Oromia. We have been through so much ever since when we have fled Ethiopia because we wanted a better life because our government wasn't allowing us to be more of ourselves as an Oromos. So we say Oromia Habilusomo is like let Oromia be itself, or let it be like not colonized by no one else but us, because we want to have our own lifestyle, so of what we believe in. The Imam, the head of the mosque, he leads the prayer over there. The most important thing here is the Quran. So in order to be a sheikh, you have to be able to memorize the Quran because you have to recite it through your 5 daily prayers, because you pray 5 times a day.
Have you always been in touch with your religion, or like growing up, was it hard?
No, I've always been in touch. Like growing up, like religion was part of like our lifestyle. Like everything we did was because of our religion. Like whatever we did had to like follow our religion. If we went somewhere, we would always pray in that area, like no matter what. Like if we like imagine if you're into wild ways, like and you had to go pray, we would go put on our pants and our shirt and then go and pray. Because we're getting bigger as a community, we wanted to have a place where like we have space for the kids to play and also learn at the same time so that they won't like get in trouble in the streets. Like this is my family. Like all these kids here, like they're friends with my little sister, my little brother. Like I know their siblings. Like we all know each other. So like it's a really close community. There aren't that many like Oromos in other places, but when you do come to Seattle, you will see a lot of Oromos come together and work together and say, you know what, like we want to have a better community. We want to have a better education for our kids. We want them to be like exceed in like everything that they have. If they came here for us to have a better lifestyle, then why not take advantage of that and have a, you know, do better just for our parents' sakes.
Chào mọi người, tên của tôi là Nancy. Today I chose Q Bakery because I think it's a very important place in South Seattle for the Vietnamese community. I know a lot of Vietnamese people and people from other communities come here to eat the delicious cuisine here. And the special thing about this place that differentiates it from other bakeries is that it bakes their own bread. So it's fresh every day, and sometimes other Vietnamese bakeries come and buy the bread here so they can bring it to their bakeries. You got bread?
Yeah, I got bread. Like, I love going to this deli.
Really?
Yeah. No, like me and my mom, we would always come here and like get the bread because it's really nice.
Yeah, my parents too. I'm really proud of my parents and my grandparents coming here and making a new life after leaving behind South Vietnam. And I think that in such a short amount of time, we have grown so much. You know, if you look around Seattle, you'll see Vietnamese temples, restaurants, and delis. When I was younger, I would have piano class on Sundays. I would get this every time I got out, taro bun. My mom, like, she makes taro soup at home, so she just buys the taro root. She just cuts it up and then she cooks it.
It's like little white little yam, right?
Yeah. Growing up, my mom would just like cook everything. She'd only cook Vietnamese food, right? So I guess you could say I got tired of it. But then as I started, you know, expanding my horizon, like eating different types of food, I realized how good my mom's cooking is. She makes authentic Vietnamese food that she learned from my grandmother, that she learned from her grandmother back in Vietnam. And every time I eat her food, I just get reminded of our heritage.
My mom's the same way. She would make a lot and she would tell me, Lynn, invite your friends. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I guess it's just Asian culture in general.
Yeah.
Just eat.
It's like, eat a lot. I think it's just like, you know, eating together kind of in part.
Yeah.
It's so different. Like, it's so surprising because I'm Russian, right? Similarly, like, our culture is so different, but at the same time, this like culture of like eating together and like no one will leave the house until you eat.
Yeah, it's rude if you don't eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to trick them though, you just eat really slow. Eat really slow. You know when you talk to someone and you say, oh, I'm Vietnamese, they're like, oh, I love banh mi, or oh, I love pho. So I feel like the food really brings people together, you know, and I think this deli plays a big role in that.
And everybody bonds over food. Yeah.
True.
Chào, tôi tên là Lynn. Hello, my name is Lynn, and this is the place I chose. This is Chỗ Cô Lam, also called Cô Lam Pagoda. Back in elementary, my mom would always make me come to this temple every Sunday, and literally I would just sit for a good 2 hours of them just chanting. This place, to me, it just reminds me, like, you know, being in an area full of like your own ethnicity, me with Vietnamese people. I can't speak Vietnamese well, and it's such a struggle for me to talk to Vietnamese people because it's that language barrier, especially when it comes to family. Can you speak Vietnamese fluently?
My parents are one of those strict ones that make me speak Vietnamese at home. But they've never taken me to school. So I can only have conversational. I can't really have, you know, deep conversations with my parents.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get to know them like that.
When I was younger, like, I used to hate learning Chinese. My mom would like post all these like signs on the wall, like with the Chinese stores that we had to write down. and every day would spend an hour reading every single one of them. So then after like first grade, when I started taking English very seriously, we took it down, and then my Chinese went downhill. But like I relearned Chinese when I came back to high school through OneWorld Now, and it's just like, wow, I missed out on a lot, because now that I'm relearning the culture and relearning everything, it's astounding how beautiful it actually is. Because I used to be ashamed of being a Chinese. I went to Washington and I hung out with like the white kids. I'm just like, why can't I look like them too? Why can't I be blonde? Why can't I have blue eyes? And then I relearned this Chinese culture. I'm just like, I'm amazing. Wow.
Did your mom ever explain to you what they're chanting?
Yeah, no, she hasn't. Unfortunately, I don't understand what a word they're saying, but I would like to. I wish someone would explain to me, because back then I didn't care, but then now I'm like, I really want to know culture. Like, what is the Vietnamese culture? What is Buddhism? You know?
Buddhism is not religion, but Buddhism is education. Everyone can learn what the Buddha teaching. We believe in the law of the cause and effect. We always think of the other, of all the living beings, ready to help them. Therefore, we are very happy. We control our body, control our mind. And day by day, our wisdom become larger and larger. And we understand the truth of our life.
I'm not perfect, but I keep trying, 'cause that's what I said I would do from the start. I'm not alive if I'm lonely, so please don't let. Was it something I said or just my personality? My name is Oromo. I am 20 years old and I'm a third-year alumni of OneWorld Now. I chose the Urban Art House as my place to showcase, because this is kind of where all my performing habits like kicked in, and like when I realized fully that I really wanted to perform. This place has a lot of meaning to me, because after like some rough times in my life, like this is where everything came back full center and started looking up for me. I didn't feel like I belonged, and I felt like I wasn't listened to, and that's one of my biggest fears, is just not be heard. For a space to be created where people can come and share, and people are actively listening to you, you are in the center of the spotlight. All attention's on you. It's really powerful and it's really moving, because people will just open right up. And that's what people did. That's just what people did in this place. They opened up. So this is the art house. Like, this place took like years to build. Like, it started off like as a small shed, and like you can see these are all the handprints representing all the hands that came together to build this place. In this space, once every month was an open mic that we hosted called Empire Nights. And basically, they create a space for the community to come and share their stories and showcase their talents, like whether it be singing, dancing, poetry, comedians. With poetry, how I used it was as a way to like just write about myself. Like all the time I wrote about myself, wrote about like struggles I've been going through that I couldn't necessarily articulate in a day-to-day conversation. It became, this is me sharing who I am.
Who are you?
Great question. My name is Oromo. I am a singer / spoken word artist. I mess up. I make mistakes. I'm human. I have a strong support system. I have people that love me and that like want to hear what I have to say. And it doesn't matter who judges me, because so freaking what? This is who I am. And that you are the head chef of your own life. Toss aside what's been handed down to you and go and cook something up for yourself.
안녕, 저는 남simrun입니다. Hi, I'm Namsimrun Boyd. I go to Ingram High School here in Seattle. I chose to come here because this is a restaurant that my family goes to all the time. My father is Korean. He's my stepfather, so I'm like, genetically I'm not Korean, but it's like I feel like I'm part of that culture in some way, because that's just, I've been around it for so long. It's always like a really nice time to come out, your family, and you'll sit around the barbecue and you'll fry the food. This is japchae, which is a noodle dish with vegetables. It often has pork or seafood in it, but we got it without that. We eat this in my house all the time. So it's like one of my favorite foods. That over there, the stew in the hot pot is called kimchi jjigae, and it's essentially stew made out of kimchi. Also a staple in my house, we have that all the time. My grandma makes it and brings it over frozen in like Tupperware. And when you go to a Korean restaurant, they give you all these sides. So there's different types of kimchi, tofu. This is fish cake, which is also one of my personal favorites. I've been to lots of places I've never been to. I've learned a lot about different cultures and different people and like where they come from. I've been to Vietnamese bakeries before, but not one that's like that large and like that. And I'd never been to a mosque before, so that was a really interesting experience to be able to go. I grew up in a small town, right? So there wasn't much culture around, you know. But then when I moved here, I noticed that right away, is there's so many different cultures and so many different people from all over the world in one city. And so you can go around one city and get a taste of the world.
Мое имя Леся. Здравствуйте. Я хожу в Bar High School, и также я изучаю китайский через OneWorld Now program. I chose this location because I moved here 5 years ago, and for me, assimilating into a new culture and a new classroom environment was very difficult. I didn't know the language, I didn't know the culture, I didn't know anyone at my new school, and my only desire was to fit in. I even would not eat my lunch, my Russian lunch that my mom made me at school, because I was afraid that people were going to make fun of me because it was so different. One day it was so overwhelming that I came home crying. I left school early, and my mom, instead of sending me back to school like I expected, she took me to the ice skating rink. And that made me feel better, because I remembered the times when I was a child and my whole family would go to the ice skating rink and just ice skate for hours, and it was just, I felt so at home. I chose to show my Christmas ornaments because it represents the long history, Russian history, you know, from being a communist country to Russia, and personally what my family endured throughout these years. Back in Russia, I had a huge family, bunch of aunts, cousins, and I feel like when I put these Christmas ornaments on the tree, my family is with me and my family history is with me, even so I'm in a different country. The most precious of all of them is this one. My grandfather made it himself because during the Soviet Union there were absolutely nothing almost in the stores, and there were no kind of Christmas ornaments. My grandfather died before I was born, and I've never got a chance to meet him. Even so I haven't met him personally, I feel like I know him by his work. This was actually the first ornament that we got as a family. It was when my mom was 5, so about 40 years ago. And it was the one and only ornament that my family had to put in the tree that year. They stood in line for 7 in the morning till 5 p.m. just to get one ornament. And so now I treasure them so much. It's often in a society we feel the need to fit in, as I felt when I was younger, the need to be the same, the need to be a certain image, or the need to at least have the same lunch. You know, when I moved here, I saw America was just French fries and hamburgers, but as you know, I've seen today, it's so much more, it's so diverse, and I love just getting to know different cultures, because this is the true America. America is diverse. America has many faces. As people, we tend to kind of get stuck in our own communities, in our own group of friends, and not necessarily experience the things outside of our comfort zone. I don't think I've ever would go to a mosque or to a Buddhist temple if it wasn't for this program. And I'm so grateful that I got to be a part of this. It's amazing. And I'm so glad that I can help people see the true diversity of America and Seattle.